Alright, today what I've got is Ikra Shidiqi, the Usurper, and Sidar Kondo of Jamura. This is my super life gain deck. So what I want to do is add in a couple of cards, which means I need to take something out, which is always the most painful part of the process. I also want to ask, is it fair? Is this a fair deck? Is there any broken shit in the deck? And if so, how broken? And also, do I really need Cabal Coffers and Urborg? So I've been jamming Cabal Coffers and Urborg together in every deck I have that has black except for Shroom, because she really doesn't need it. And now I have a Cabal Coffers but no Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth to go with it. Open it out of a pack of MH2, and I want to give it to Corvold. But does he need it? How many of my decks of black really need Coffers and Urborg, considering Coffers is a dead card unless you have Urborg or enough swamps? So let's take a look. Alright, so what do these bastards do? Anyway, Ikri. She costs 5, she's a 3/7 with Menace. Whenever creature I control deals combat damage to player, punches a punk in the face, I gain life equal to his toughness. That's good. Sidar Kondo Jamura. Yeah, he was Gerard's godfather, I believe, or stepfather, foster father. He's somehow related to Gerard of the Weatherlight. Anyway, 2 green-white for a 2/5 human knight with flanking. Something you really don't see that often anymore at all. I'm surprised they put it on here at all, other than as a homage to Mirage. There's really no other reason I can think of to do this other than a lot of Mirage Knights had flanking. He's a Mirage Knight, so let's give this bastard flanking. Anyway, creatures opponent control without flying or reach can't block creatures power 2 or less. Hey, his power is 2 or less. Alright, who else has power 2 or less? And what do I want to do? So what I want to do is, I got this from Yuji in our trade dance. So after we danced, we traded. And he had this guy. And he said he's worth nothing. And I said, oh, I want him. 2 triple green for a 5/7 monkey shaman. Never cast a creature spell. I can aura shards. I can't think of a spell. Look at the top 5 cards right now. But so look at the top 5 cards of your library. And you put a land card from among them on the battlefield tapped. That's interesting. Usually when you're looking at the top cards of your library, you're pulling a creature, or in some cases an enchantment with green. Not that often are you pulling a land and then putting it into play, tapped or not. It's just kind of rare, kind of a mythic ability there. Or I can gain 4 life in a super life gain deck where toughness matters, so he is going to be good. Then I've got this Deathless Angel. I've had this kicking around for a long time. I didn't like the original art, didn't like how it looked like some fat, pregnant chick in the sky. So I asked Ren, can you do something with this? Can you make it look cooler? So Ren painted armor on her. So she has this, looks like partial plate mail. She looks tougher. Her face is still kind of weird. Not one of Johann Boden's best pieces, I must say. So 6 or 5/7 flyer. Well, her toughness is higher than her power, so she fits the theme. Target creature is indestructible this turn for the low cost of 2 white and no tapping. Just spend 2 white, make something indestructible. Alright. I still don't quite like the art, but the ability is pretty good, so let's see if there's something that she can replace that makes sense. And we'll see if this deck is fair, and we'll see if I need a Cabal Coffers. I was going to say a rude word, but I stopped myself. I'll say the rude words later, I'm sure. So, Dragon Lord from Mocha. Can't be countered. Can't cast spells from... Well, yeah, I definitely want that. Land. I want land. Should I set the land aside? Screw it. Put a land card fan on the battlefield. Yep, that's good. Protect myself with the Fury. That's good. Vito. He's very good in this deck. Volra Stronghold. 1 black, 1 colorless tap. Put target creature from graveyard on top of your library. I've got a lot of these. I've got 9 Is that dust in there, or is that the art? It must be the art. So, I've got 9 strongholds. I've got 9 Yevma Hollows. They're all kicking around different decks. I like them, so I bought a lot of them when they were cheap. I'm glad I bought them when they were cheap. Huatli. She's key in the deck because the idea is that I have all creatures with toughness higher than power, and if I change the combat math so they deal damage equal to their toughness, I win. Well, my creatures win. Maybe I won't win the game. Maybe I'll still get my ass kicked, who knows. Deathrite Shaman, he's cheap, he stays. Bird's Paradise, cheap, stays. The Death Star. So this is the one dirty combo I have in this deck. The idea is, while I'm smashing with creatures, if things get stalled out and I'm no longer really smashing with creatures, I can throw out the Death Star and power up 1 reactor if I have enough life and kill somebody. You die. And if I have enough life, you die too. That's the idea. Hasn't worked yet, but I have hopes. All things are forest. Go find a plains. Yep. This was Gift of Estates. This is Gift of Estates, but I realized I wanted to have it cheaper. I wanted to play as an instant. I don't really care about finding 3 plains at sorcery speed. I more care about finding any of the shock lands or the Murmuring Bosque that gives me the other colors. That's really why this is in here, so I can go find a missing black or a missing green that's attached to a plains. So that's good. Land, yep, Nature's Lore. Go find a forest. Basically like tithes. Vampire Nighthawk. Okay, this is good. Command Tower, good, good. This guy's, he looks kind of weak and cheap, but he's really good in this deck. He comes in early, he's got that extort, so I can start extorting like a madman. He flies. My phone just keeps ringing. I'm doing something else, so they'll have to wait, whoever it is. Good. Maybe they'll show some patience. Winding Canyons. Do I have Seedborn? I have Seedborn Muse in this deck. The reason I have Winding Canyons mainly is because I have Seedborn Muse, and they work very well together, because since this costs 2 and I have to tap this land, I have to have that available in order to even cast anything at instant speed. So during my turn, if I only have, say, 4 mana at the end of my turn, and it costs me 2, plus I have to tap the Winding Canyons to cast anything with it, it's not that impressive. So Seedborn Muse lets me untap my opponents so I can play things at instant speed. That's why that's in there. Auric Champion, protection black and red. She fits the theme of life gain. And the protection from black and red is often relevant, but her power and her toughness do not fit the theme. And I have the 2 Soul Sisters in here that also do not fit the theme, do the same thing though. Whenever another creature comes into play, I can gain life. Maybe it's time for her to come out. Plains. Vicious Deed. Destroy everything you don't like. Erebos, God of the Dead. Hey, you're gaining life. You want to spend it on cards? Yes. Okay, spend it on cards, my good man. He doesn't often go active because I don't have that many things with that many black pips. Exploration, I can play additional lands. City of Brass hurts me but gives me the colors. Sometimes it's hard to get the colors. Tower of the Magistrate. This is kind of my signature card with the lads. I need to get more of these, because it's funny how they think that I have one in almost every deck. Just because the few times I have played it and used it, it's been memorable. Of course, there's been a lot of other times I played it, haven't really used it, and nobody cared and forgot about it. But all it takes is that one time. Urborg. Kitty Cat, Alms Collector. 4 for 3/4, Flashing Cat. Curious to see how this works. Really am. I haven't had it in play yet, but I have it in here and it's cute. My daughter loves it. She always wants me to give it to her, but I say, no, you're just going to put in the binder, and I'm actually going to put it to work. Aura shards. So Big Daddy Monkey here has aura shards stapled to him, but he costs 5, so he ain't coming out for a while, especially with that triple green. Aura shards is coming out a lot earlier, and it's got the same thing, and it's probably good to have the redundancy. Seaboard Muse, yep. Remember, according to the genie, this is not a casual card. This is approaching CEDH, the third rail of casual magic. Planes. Mortify. Sensi's Binding Top. I keep putting this in, I keep taking it out, I keep putting it back in again. I forget why I put it in this time, but I must have a good reason, and maybe I'll see it when I come across it. Droning bureaucrats. Now, this looks like crap. This looks like some bullshit that I shouldn't have in the deck. But his toughness is pretty high compared to his power. He comes down early, and this ability has been relevant, and it's been funny. So Cube is playing his little Drowsy deck. Okay, I'm attacking. No, you're going to combat. Go to combat. Say combat. Say, I'm going to go to combat. I'm going to combat. All right. Now that you've declared combat, I'm going to make it so every creature CMC 6 cannot attack or block. What? Just this one? No, all of them. All the creatures of CMC 6 cannot attack. What about 7? No, it's exactly 6. So all those bastards you have for 6, they can't attack this turn. Wow, that sucks. Yep. So he stays. Tempted with discovery. So about the Urborg Cabal Coffers. I have this, and that lets me find the combination. There's never been a time where I've not gotten at least 2 cards with Tempt with Discovery. Never. Somebody always takes my offer. And usually when somebody does, the other lads do too, because why not? Semi-Dolder. So this only gives my creature section from black, green, or white. But she comes down early. And it's an old Therese Nielsen foil. So it's beautiful to look at. I'm trying to think when this really matters. I've never had it matter before, but it is an early creature. Let's think about that. Marsh Flats. And I do love playing old cards that are goofy that nobody expects. They're on the Siege Tower, speaking of old goofy. So he stays because he changes the combat math, and that's what I want to do. Yo Mama's Reach. Soul Warden. Yeah, quick life gain. Worldly Tutor. Go find a creature, reveal it, shuffle, put that card on top. Do I really need the extra tutor? Because I have Demonic Tutor. Demonic Tutor is mainly in here as another way of finding Cabal Coffers or Urborg. Or my Death Star. Maybe I don't want the Demonic Tutor. Maybe I should take out the Unrestricted Tutor. Let's think about that. Let's set the tutors aside. Meekstone. In one game, this is a group hug card. Because I locked down somebody with big nasty creatures. So they're the players who are thinking, oh, thank Jesus, we're saved for a little while. And the guy with the big nasty early creatures is, oh, this fucking card. Yep, that fucking card. See, I told you I would use a dirty word. Commander Isha. T4 flying texture creature. Yep, he always gets through. He can block no problems. He is a badass. Blind obedience. Slows my opponents down, gives me some extortion. Let's set that aside. Let's think about the unrestricted tutors, because I don't really like playing them without strong justification. Putrefy. Stays. Slugworm Armor. Yep. Give something +6 to its toughness when toughness matters. Yeah, Duran at that point is effectively an 11/11. Yep. So this can become a 1/5 creature. When toughness matters, it hits for hard. Temp card and Blinding Angel. So when toughness matters, she's effectively a 4/4. When she smacks somebody, they can't attack anybody during the next combat phase. Soren. But they have to declare it. They have to declare combat even if they can't do shit. So we know when they're going from their first main phase to the second main phase. Well, actually, no, that's not right, is it? Skips their next combat phase. They don't get a combat phase. They can't declare shit. They can't declare combat. There's no tricks that anybody could play during the combat phase because they won't have it. They'd get one main phase and then that's it. End phase. Stop your turn and quit stalling. Quit screwing around. Soren. Well, this is good. He gives my stuff lifelink, just hanging around, looking cool. +2 is not particularly interesting, but the return target creature card of CMC X from your graveyard to the battlefield, that is interesting. That is good. I like that. Soren, you can stay. Linvala, Keeper of Silence. Activated abilities of creatures your opponents control cannot be activated. Nope. Cube, you ain't tapping shit and you ain't doing no damage. She stays. Cultivate. Daxos. Do I care about Daxos? He kind of sits in the same space she does, doesn't he? Don't they? So they both cost 2 white. He, when he comes into play, is a 2/2. Another creature control enters the battlefield, dies, they gain 1 life. She just, whenever another creature comes into play, I gain 1 life. So he looks at life and death. She's got protection from black and red, which is sometimes relevant, sometimes not. But his toughness can get bigger. I think... after this, I'm going to count my early creatures. And I'm taking out something that costs double white, or something that costs double green, so I might be screwing up my mana base. But I don't think it is going to be that bad, because usually I feel the pinch of not having the right colors early in the game. By the time he can come down, costing 5, I should have resolved any missing colors. So Auric Champion out, Silverback Elder in, still looking for something for Deathless Angel. So that's a cool change. Daxos, blessed by the sun. Elspeth Tyrell. Give him a life for each creature control. Put some soldiers on the battlefield. Destroy everything except for lands and tokens. For 5. Double your life. Yep, you're definitely staying. That's kind of the theme of the deck, is gain life. This guy's really never done anything. Of course, I've never really had him in play, so that could be why he hasn't really done anything, because he kind of needs to be in play to do anything. So he's a 1/3 that destroys creature at end of combat. So he doesn't have death touch, he just has delay touch. And whenever he deals combat damage to player, I can draw a card. So with Sidar Kondo, does he live in a condo? Do you think Sidar Kondo would live in a condo or a detached house? Probably a castle, fortress, tent, something like that. Anyway, so Sidar Kondo makes him unblockable if I have him in play, both of them in play, unless they have flying or reach. Lysa, Forgotten Archangel. I don't like getting my stuff exiled. I don't necessarily like randomly, scratch that, I don't like randomly exiling blindly my opponent's stuff either. If I'm going to exile something, I want it to be targeted and intentional. That's why I took Bojuka Bog out of almost all my decks. So Lysa here, 4/5 her flying lifelinker, that's pretty good. Whenever another non-token creature control dies, return the card to its owner's hand beginning the next end step. So whenever something I have dies, I get it back. Whenever a creature an opponent controls a die, it gets exiled instead. And I don't like that I have to do it. In fact, I don't even know why it's put on, but otherwise she's good, so she stays. Soul Ring. Wave of Reckoning. Each creature punches itself in the face. If all my creatures have higher toughness and power, then they survive. All the creatures with equal or higher power and toughness die. That's my board wipe in the deck. Curse Restore. 3 from when tap target land. So there's really nothing unfair in this deck. This is not an unfair deck. This is not a super combo, screw you, this card is bullshit deck really, except if I get Seedworm used in Winding Canyons and somebody wants to complain. Yeah, I'm going to harp on that for a little bit longer, I think. Elspeth, Sun's Champion, 6, put 3 soldiers on the battlefield, destroy everything with power 4 or greater. Well, that's good because most of my stuff is power 4 or less, 3 or less, 0 sometimes. I would never trigger her emblem in this deck because I want the power to always be less than the toughness. The flying could be cool, but she's here for the first 2 abilities. There's Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. There's Palisade Giant, all that. So she's kind of like Veteran Bodyguard, except she's bigger and tougher and costs 1 more. So Veteran Bodyguard is a 2/5 for 3 double white. Damage that will be dealt to you as long as he's untapped. And I think it's unblocked creatures. So I think he takes the damage from unblocked creatures and only if he's untapped. She takes all the damage and it doesn't matter if she's tapped or not. So she's cool. And there's a Forest. There's a Bosk. There's a Sylvan Library. That's probably why I have the Sensei's Divining Top again. There's Cabal Coffers. There's Elixir of Immortality. That protects my graveyard. There's another Soul Sister. Look, it's Stranded the Magistrate. He's an asshole. 2, for 1/3, your opponents can't cast their commanders from the command zone. Yep. Reanimate. Usually wanted, when he first contacted me, he said he's looking for animates, and I don't have any that aren't decked, so wasn't able to help him there. But during the trade, after we danced around, well, he only has a few good cards in his binder. I only have a few good cards in my binder. Are we going to find anything that we can actually trade? And when he finally pulled some stuff out, and I was like, yeah, he found stuff. Because I know I can find stuff in his binder. He's got some cool cards. So, how much do you think this is worth? They're not worth anything, nothing. How about your cards? Yeah, my cards aren't worth anything either. Okay, let's trade. It was great. There was no looking up phones, no... Well, your cards are still 5 euro cents higher than mine, and I want you to equal the... None of that bullshit. It was beautiful. It was the old school style of trading, and I loved it. It was fun. I'm glad I met him. Reanimate. Hondanado de Yavamaya. Yavamaya Hollow. Regenerate target creature. Sapling and Kofanor. Kind of like to get a foil one of her, but she still costs like 20 euros in foil, so ain't gonna do it anytime soon. Rainbow Veil. Yeah, why not? I can use it politically. Hey, you're screwed for mana, aren't you? Yeah, it sucks. If I use the Rainbow Veil and pass it to you, will you use it on your turn and pass it back to me? Will you puff puff give, Smokey? Pass the veil from the left-hand side. High market. Maybe I don't need this guy. I haven't used him yet, but he's pretty cool. And he's old. From Fallen Empires. One of the shittiest sets ever printed. So this guy, 6 for 2/6, tap. And then tap another 3 any targets. White creatures you control destroy any target creature. So he targets the creatures that I'm tapping. Meaning, if I've given them protection with Semite Elder, he can't tap them. But there's also Seedborn Muse, so I can untap them, so I can destroy more. Yeah, he better stay if I've got Seedborn Muse. Try him. Murders Rider. land. This guy's cool in this deck. This guy, he was doing some hard work in the early stages of the game once. I think collectively there was like a 20-point life swing. I think I gained 20 life off him and stole it collectively from the other three lads because he came out on turn 3 and they kept casting mana rocks and stuff. They kept building up. So he kept taxing them. Oran Frostfang. Attacking creatures control have Death Touch. Whenever creature control deals combat damage to player, draw a card. So Super Oran Frostfang. Yeah, he definitely stays. Broodmoth. It's cool and stays. Whenever creature control without flying dies, turn to the battlefield with a flying counter on it. Of course, if I had Lisa out, then I have to choose what effect I'm going to do. Is it better to put it back in my hand, or is it better to bring it back with a flying token? Sometimes it might be better to put it back in my hand. And you'll notice this deck does not have an Eternal Witness because her toughness is less than her power. I made exceptions for the Soul Sisters and Auric Champion. For Daxos because he will get higher toughness and power. But Eternal Witness, no, don't have one in this deck. Crackdown. Non-white creatures, power 3 greater, don't untap during the controller's untap step. I'm surprised this isn't on Wizards' list of racist cards. So you're saying Whitey comes down and oppresses all the colored cards, all the colored creatures? Is that what you're saying? All the creatures of color get oppressed by Whitey? I'm surprised they didn't come up with some bullshit like that. They're really a bunch of fuckheads. Wizards of the Coast. Let's count my swamps right quick to see if I can justify that Cabal Coffers. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, 5, 5. Not swamp. 6. So there are 6 swamps. One of them, of course, is Urborg itself, Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, which makes everything a swamp, so it really doesn't count. So there are 5 swamps. So if I have Cabal Coffers and I do not have Urborg, it's going to be pretty much useless. Unless I have Yavimaya, Carnival Growth, then it's a forest, so that's useful. So basically I have 2 lands that make it so I can use Cabal Coffers. One makes it so I can use it as any other land. One of them supercharges it. I have Tempt with Discovery to find it. I have Demonic Tutor, and the main purpose is to find the missing piece. That's the main reason I have it in the deck. And I've got a lot of things with high color counts. 3, I mean that, the activated ability, if I have Cabal Coffers and Urborg, that makes it much easier. Urbos. Extort, it's easier to pay the extra extort. So I think, okay, I'm going to keep it in here. I didn't find anything obvious for the Deathless Angel. And so far, I haven't really missed that ability. So if any of you have gotten to this point, almost 30 minutes in, if you think I should put Deathless Angel in, do tell me. And tell me, what would you take out? That's really the key question. What would you take out for Deathless Angel? It should be something with a high CMC, but most things with a high CMC are justifiable. Alright, so let me get this posted, and in conclusion, I say that this is a fair deck. It's basically an expensive precon. It's like that, I can't remember his name. There's so many people that are responding. I've been getting so many great comments, but somebody said Your deck is a $700 deck that plays like a $70 deck. Yes it is, baby. Yes it is.